Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third panel of the day. Today, this is the what did I call this panel? The talk show and VTR nerds out panel over Star Wars panel thing. Since this is technically I'm able to this talk show's panel, I'm going to let him take the lead on
Okay.
this.
Hello, everybody. I'm Talkshow. If you did not know, my name is Talkshow. Hello, I'm Talkshow. To all of these people, these wonderful people, I see so many people out in the crowd right now, and it's quite beautiful to see that everybody's so excited to talk about Star Wars with me. I'm a big Star Wars guy. I enjoy. I've watched it on the VHS tapes. Yeah, I used to. I watched Star Wars when I was growing up on VHS tapes. I know that sounds like I'm a 50-year-old man who watched it originally in 1980. No, I'm 20. I just was poor and all we had was VHS tapes. So I watched the original 4 on VHS, and then later I watched the original. I watched the prequels on like DVD or Blu-ray. I can't remember which one. And then of course I watched the sequels in theaters. Um,
You've
So
seen a
what I
couple
really want to
re-releases
kind of
of the original, though, haven't you? In
yeah
theaters?
they yeah I've seen Phantom Menace in theaters again, and I've seen Episode 3. I've seen Episode 3
They never
in
re-released Attack of the
theaters.
Clones.
They did, but we probably just didn't go because honestly, Attack of the Clones is mid, bro. Like let's be honest.
Yeah,
Let's be honest with
I've
each other.
never, but I've never seen like an advertisement for it being re-released or anything.
Yeah, me too. I guess people they knew it was like mid, so maybe they just didn't do it. Who knows? But anyway, let's talk since we are Star Wars. Recently, of course, back in May 4th, Star Wars Celebration was happening, and they did some recent
Yeah.
announcements for different kinds of TV shows, more stuff about movies, and even video games. So, if I remember correctly, the
The only
first,
thing
what
I really
was
know
it?
about was announced during that was the it was like a Darth Maul show or something.
Yes,
They're
yes,
doing that's like the
that's something I'm very excited for is the Mall TV show. So it's gonna take place after the Clone Wars, how Maul rebuilds his criminal empire and how he becomes the Mythic Dawn once
so
again.
so basically the in between of when we see him in Clone Wars and when we
Hmm.
see him in Rebels.
When we see in Rebels, in between Clone Wars and Rebels, yes.
What about when we see him
So
in from when we see him in Solo? There's that one scene of him in Solo.
yeah, that's gonna be like how it is. So it's gonna connect to that solo scene.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Is this gonna be live
yeah.
action or
So
is it gonna be animated?
it's just animated. It's animated. It's gonna be in the Clone Wars style animation,
Oh, nice.
as per usual. And I personally, I'm a big fan of. I'm totally blanking on his name. Like I'm a really big fan of his. But I totally forgot his name.
Guy that plays
Uh,
Maul.
Guy who plays Maul. Shoot.
Uh, he's literally at where the comments going on in my town today this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, he is there. Like he is there right now as we speak. He is
Mm-hmm.
literally there. The
Sam
Darth
Witwer.
Maul's actor. Yeah, he's
Sam
literally
Witwer.
there.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So Sam Witwer. I'm a big fan of his. He before he was actually Maul, he was actually Star Killer from The Force Unleashed. He was
Wait, does the same guy that voices him in Clone Wars, is the same guy that like played him in the makeup and everything in
no, no, that
Oh, okay,
was
okay. Okay, that guy is here. That guy is here, not
that was Ray Park. That was Ray Park.
it's that guy that's here at the con here,
Yeah.
not
Fun fact: in the battle of Mandalore in the final episode of the Clone Wars, the big lightsaber battle with well, it was not the last episode, it was like the second last or one of the last episodes. Uh, the when they do the battle, Ahsoka and Maul, they do the fight. It's actually motion captured. The entire fight is motion captured, and Ray Park came back to do the role after the Phantom Menace to do the motion capture for Maul. So when you see Darth Maul doing the lightsaber fighting with the motion with the other motion capture character. I don't know who played Ahsoka. It was some they had to hire a person, but that was actually the original Darth Maul playing that, which I thought was such a great thing that they
Oh,
did.
that's sick, dude. I didn't even know that. Cause I'm
Hmm.
like, you're more inclined to Star Wars mythos and everything than I am. Cause like
Hmm.
I grew up with Star Wars just like you did. I grew up with it, watching them on VHS and everything. But I definitely am nowhere near as big into it as I used to be. Now my interest my interest in Star Wars got like brought back up after I went to Galaxy's Edge at Disney World.
Hmm.
Um, and that kind of like re-interest me into Star Wars and got
Hmm.
me excited to. But then like I really didn't do much with it. I tried to finish watching Obi-Wan Kenobi just the other day. I didn't. I still need to finish watching that. I need to
Oh,
get a
dude, the
lot back
finale
into
is like the
Star
best
Wars.
part of the show. Finale is literally the last
That's what
episode is
I've
the best part of
that's
the
what I've
show.
heard. That's what I've heard. From what I've seen of it so far, I like. So what I've seen of it, and I also need to watch the rest of the Mandalorian, and regrettably,
I
I'm
don't.
gonna put myself through watching the Acolyte. I'm probably gonna regret that.
Yeah, actually, honestly, I do have a. I feel like it could be a hot take. A lot of people don't like it, but I actually really like what they did with Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. Cause, cause think about it.
What did they
You are
not
the
like?
best. People didn't like how he was a sissy, and yeah, there was some bad writing moments in the show. I can agree with that. But I feel like what at least what I've seen, everyone's main issue was how Boba Fett wasn't this cool bounty hunter that who's kind of lost his coolness and lost the reason,
The
like
dude
blah blah blah.
literally was like crawled himself out of a freaking the Sarlacc pit. Like I
I
don't
know,
think after that, I
like
don't think
that's
you'd be the same person you
like
were
yeah, like
after that.
that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. So this is spoilers for Book of Boba Fett if you haven't seen it.
I haven't
If you
seen it
haven't seen
either,
it,
but
then
I don't really care for spoilers on
yeah.
it.
So imagine this: you are the greatest known, the most well-known, best bounty hunter in the entire galaxy. Right? You finally get beaten. You end up in the Sarlacc pit for years. You are in, not even for years, like maybe for like months. You were in the Sarlacc pit, getting slowly consumed. You finally you finally find something and you grab your way out and you break yourself out. You pull yourself out of the sand. Get super just like dying. You're like you feel like shit. 'Cause of course you're getting slightly digested. So obviously you're not gonna
Yeah.
feel like the best. He had burns all over his body because of that digestion. Everything, and he comes out of the sand instantly taken as a slave by the Tusken Raiders for again months. He was beat with sticks. He was dehydrated constantly, starved constantly, made to do manual labor, a huge slave. And then when he finally learns the culture and the existence of the uh, Tusken Raiders and realizes that they're not the bad people, this is what their lands were. Because the Tusken Raiders lived on Tatooine before it was a desert. Tatooine was years and years was actually a planet with like islands and water. It was like a normal Earth-like planet until something happened and it just became a desert. So the Tusken Raiders has been here for generations, and all of a sudden these people come in and take over their. It's kind of like a Native American thing. But so Boba Fett learns with and they teach him, and they give him after again months of training and stuff. They come together, and then all of a sudden, the tribe that once enslaved him, then became like a family of a way, was slaughtered right in front of you. But he knew because of the Tusken Raiders to do right. Like if you went through all that shit, tell me you wouldn't be like, you know what, I'm gonna try to do some good. Like again, like you
Yeah.
were a bad person, but like after all that shit and learning life lessons with Tuscans, like after all that, come on, like and this would be like people are getting pissed about it because like oh he's not a badass killer anymore. Well, when like the story that was told, do you really think after everything he would still want to do all that? Like,
And
I know
you
I
say
wouldn't at least.
you say all that, and then his show gets hijacked by the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing that I don't like. I like the Book of Boba Fett story, but the fact that 2 full episodes of like 50-minute episodes did not have Boba Fett in it at all. It was just continuing in the Mandalorian story. Like you show up, the Mandalorian shows up, and like, oh, this is sick. The entire episode has only
Like
him.
even
He's getting a
even
new
I
ship.
know that a family member was mine was watching it. Like she was into it and she was watching book. I walk in one day, it's like oh, you finished book, you watching Mandalorian now? I was like, no, this is still Boba Fett. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it just brings you, and Luke Skywalker just appears. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Like what?
With that still crappy looking deep fake technology, it looks better than it did in
It
Mandalorian.
was better than it
It
did in
looks better than
Mandalorian.
it, but
It
it,
was
it
better.
still looks bad.
I would honestly just prefer a new fucking actor. I mean, frickin' my bad.
Yeah, why
I would
not? Why
honestly
not?
prefer.
Why not? Yeah, I don't know why Disney just won't cast like they actually. I've seen behind the scenes that it had actually Mark Hamill there doing it and everything, but they
Yeah,
like de-aged him and everything, and like I'm like just hire someone else, man.
no, because they had a body double
Yeah,
that kind of already looked like Luke Skywalker, and that could pass
and just
in the entire
CGI
getup.
freaking his face onto
Yeah, and then they also had Mark Hamill doing the same thing. It was such a weird process. Just hire a new actor. Like, it's awesome to see Mark Hamill be Luke Skywalker. It's honestly awesome. I love Mark Hamill. I love his work
He's
as
too old to
the
be playing
Joker.
young Luke
But
Skywalker
he
though.
can't play young Luke Skywalker, you know? He
Like I
can't.
don't even see. Okay, that brings me to something I want to talk about and ask you. How would you feel like if Star Wars they decided to just like completely start over and reboot? I've had a conversation with some people. I've been I'm very curious what you think about that. I personally, I think it'd be a. I think if they're gonna keep Star Wars going, it's about time to try to do that, in my opinion.
Um, do like a full reboot. Like, I feel like
Like, not don't
because
remake anything. I'm not saying like remake it. It's like more like reboot. Like you can start the
yeah,
galaxy over from scratch.
yeah. Like what I would do is keep the 4, 5, and 6. This is the classic story. What's necessary? One I
Okay, so
might
kind of
change.
have kind of do a
One,
requel kind of thing.
yeah. One I might do. One I might change a few stuff, but still kind of keep the Darth Vader story. Might make it more like um, let's say like, of course, fix the acting. Of course, I feel like Attack of the Clones was so bad because of the acting. I feel like
That's one of the main problems with that movie.
one of the
That
main
movie
problems
has
is the movie.
is
Yeah, it's
horrible
the acting.
acting.
I feel like really just fix Attack of the Clones. The sequel, do a massive change. I feel like what I would love to do is that they took a lot of inspiration um
Buy me pepperoni pizza.
from the comics.
You're not listening.
I feel like because in the comics before Disney owned Lucas,
Give me
they did
food.
so much stories
Give me food.
like about Luke's son. Luke had a son and a daughter, I believe, and like Han Solo had a son and a daughter, and like stuff like that.
Yeah,
I feel like you could
I
totally
because like I
take a lot of
remember
inspiration from that.
when rumors about Force Awakens was coming around, we heard that it was gonna be about Luke and Leia's kid. We thought
Mhm.
like it was gonna be like that stuff that was from those books and those comics and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then the movie
Mhm.
comes out, and it's just this brand new character that they made up who turns out to be a little whiner for most of the dang screen time.
Yeah. I feel like how I would do the sequels is definitely, Luke, uh, Luke, Leia, and Han. They're all nice with each other. They of course they've gone their separate ways. Luke continues to train the Jedi, but then all of a sudden, a new villain appears. Whole new villain. Doesn't have to be
Don't go,
like
don't pull Palpatine out of nowhere
no, not
like they
Palpatine,
did.
not Palpatine. A whole new villain They could take from the comics just a whole new Sith, just a really bad guy, and he starts to grow in power. He starts to grow because he's kind of like a false idol in a kind of way. Because again, the New Republic is doing great, but there's these people who have lots of doubts, and kind of doesn't start a whole new war. It kind of starts like an anti-rebellion, because the rebellion is the bad people. They're more like terrorists, a terrorist group, and they bomb Republic ships, armies, and stuff like that. I feel like that could be a good way to kind of like do the opposite of what the original trilogy was doing. And like first movie is kind of setting all that up. Second movie, like Han Solo's or like maybe Luke's son or daughter, one of the children of the main characters, turns
So you're
evil,
saying
goes to the
if
dark
they
side.
went the reboot route, do sequels to the original trilogy, don't
Hmm.
do any prequels, do sequels to the original trilogy.
No, I would do prequels. No, I would keep the prequels, change a little bit in the prequels, like maybe, but like I would keep everything. I'm mainly just changing the sequels. I would change. I would keep the originals exactly how they are. I would change a bit of the prequels, like maybe change one or two a bit up, like change it a little bit how like nothing like crazy. The story continues the same, like with Vader, but like change up how different stuff like Jar Jar Binks isn't as annoying. Like just like little stuff.
Or just cut them out completely.
Yeah, like just little stuff, just like kind of like fixing my
Here's what you
issues,
could
but
do.
mainly is my sequel.
Here's what they could
Sequel.
do. They could before they did the sequels, they could do a one prequel movie that just gives.
Mm.
'Cause I think that story of those three movies, you can put all that into one. I mean, a lot of people said that for the longest time. You could put all of that into one movie. Take out
Hmm.
all the political stuff. Take out all the freaking just the stuff that's not needed, and
Yeah,
you could probably
but if
put that into a one movie and
yeah,
everything.
if I had to do what, make a thing, if I had to keep how the sequels went but change it, I feel like Force Awakens, I'd honestly keep it a bit, maybe change up the whole very much copying a New Hope thing. Like keep how everything that he does, even Han Solo dying, I would keep that because honestly, I feel like Han Solo dying was not a bad decision.
So would we keep like Finn and Ray coming into play and Poe and all
Yeah,
that? Will that
Finn and
all?
Rey, Poe, all of them still, but like a lot, the Last Jedi changed a lot. I would change that like as a
We'd make Ray an actual like flawed
like
character, not like an actual like realistic character, not a freaking Mary Sue.
yeah, like something like that, and then I would give her like lots of struggles. Like she has PTSD of her life in Tatooine alone. Like she just is
Jakku.
oh yeah, Jakku.
It's the same
It's
thing. It's the
potato
same
potato.
planet.
It's literally
It's
the
the
same
same.
planet.
It
It's
should have
literally
just
the same
been
planet.
Tatooine. I don't know why
It
they had
should
to
have just
create a
been
whole new
Tatooine.
planet.
But yeah, do that. Add I feel like definitely she needs a training arc because she was just such a good Jedi for no fucking reason. Like she had no training whatsoever. So I feel
Yeah,
like
just and all of a
Luke,
sudden like it hurt the freaking foot, and all of a sudden just out of nowhere, it's like, oh,
like
I can do that
Luke,
apparently.
Luke comes out of hiding because he knows he needs to. Like she comes like he comes with her while the fleet is chasing them. They land on a different planet. Not Crate. Crate was a beautiful planet, but they land on a different planet. They manage to the whole maneuver doesn't work. I'm sure they managed to successfully deactivate their like uh whatever like was such a thing. They were able to like successfully destroy their like what's the thing, hyperdrive scanning thing. I don't know, to tell what coordinates they're going to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they managed to escape for a bit. Uh, because there was like but they not for long because there's a spy on the rebel ship. Uh, blah blah blah. They get to the planet. Luke is there. Luke and Leia reunites while they're on the planet doing their stuff. Luke and Rey train while Poe, Leia, and Finn kind of do their own stuff,
Put it through
like with Chewie.
from the camera.
Like they go on their own stuff
Yeah.
to
Wait, let me ask you something real quick. Are you making this all off the top of your head, or do you actually
Yeah.
fully thought about this?
I'm all making this. I'm just spewing out shit.
Look over there.
But I feel like they
Like
could go on
it
like a
seems
supply
really
run.
detailed for you just like coming up with it on the spot right here.
Yeah, I feel like it's like they go on a supply run, and while they're out on a supply run, of course, the rebel, uh, the spy thinks it's the best time to start kind of really telling where the first order is. They get attacked. Luke, Leia, and or no, Luke and Rey have to defend with the troops, while Finn, Poe, and do their own side story, kind of like with the banking thing, to get supplies. They come back. You know, whole fight. You know, happens. Something big needs to happen.
Just make the side story actually like benefit the story instead of just this stupid side
Yeah,
casino thing.
yeah. Um, like they come back and they have like bombs and like they actually like really help, like because of the supplies that they got. I feel like Snoke comes down on the ground. The big boy Snoke wants to witness them do it.
So I'm saying, so in this hypothetical sequel trilogy, do we keep Snoke
Snoke is
this
his own
weird?
dude.
So he's not this weird clone thing or
He's not a
whatever the
weird
heck he
clone.
was.
No, he's not a clone.
Whatever the
A
heck he
valid.
was. I don't even think he was a
Yeah.
clone. I think he was like a weird.
So
I don't know what he
yeah.
was. Did they ever
So
confirm what he was?
he was a clone of Palpatine. He was a failed Palpatine clone.
Why?
I don't
Why?
know. I don't know. But yeah, Snoke is his own person. Him and Luke, because what planet they landed on is like kind of like a dark side planet, because it would be the least. Him and Luke battle it out like crazy, while Rey and Kylo kind of well, Rey struggles with the fight because she doesn't struggle as much as the first fight because she did get a little bit of training from Luke, so it is kind of a fair fight. Of course, Kylo's gonna win in the end, and of course, be saved. She's gonna be
So
saved
so
by
so
like
we're in
Finn.
the second movie right now, right?
This
Second
is the
movie.
second. This is the movie. The first movie, A New Hope, kind of stays how the first movie, Force Awakens, kind of stays how it is. The second one, um, yeah, is just like this. Blah blah blah. They fall like Snoke and Luke. Luke sacrifices himself and drags Snoke down into like a dark side pit of darkness. Like none can return. Like we
Ooh,
can make it
okay.
so like Yoda trained Luke. Yoda told Luke about different like kind of like warned him about different like dark side areas, and he knew what it was and stuff like that because of his Jedi text that he had and stuff like that. He knew where he was, and that was his plan all along. That's the reason why, because like Luke picked the system, he knew the area, so that's why he knew Snoke would be there, and so that's why he dragged Snoke down into the pit, and they are presumed dead.
Disney, hire this man. Hire this man, Disney.
And uh so Kylo is supreme leader. I feel like Kylo is supreme leader at the end, but he comes a lot more because of his role. He becomes a lot less whiny
Yeah, that's one of my biggest problems with Kylo Ren. Him being like a
because he
whiny
has that
teenager.
stress on his role. He is a lot of course a lot of leaders presume him to be weak. But anyway, that's just going on to the third movie. Yeah, so they win the fight. The First Order does have to retreat after a bit because the Snoke is dead, and then Kylo, and Rey and them, they manage to get the supplies and go and stuff like that. The First Order doesn't retreat; they leave, and then that's the end of the movie. The end of the movie, and the end of the second movie. You gotta keep talking. I gotta go take out the dogs so they don't shit and piss on the floor. So I'll be back. But that's the end of the
Okay.
second movie. I don't know if you like that. but that's just like
It's better
it
than
doesn't go
what
into
Disney
much
did.
detail. It doesn't
It's
go
better
into
than
much
what Disney.
detail, but that's just what I've came up with.
I think it's better than what Disney did. While he goes AFK and doing that, I'm gonna change the topic a little bit about what I personally think about the sequel trilogy and everything, because I'm nicer to the sequel trilogy than like most people are. I'm uh, I'm nicer than the sequel trilogy is because a lot of people thought the sequel trilogy was like the worst thing ever, and I actually think the second and third movies are actually fine. The Last Jedi is where like the actual don't need that out, is where the actual garbage comes from. Like that movie has just got so many problems. I think I saw it. I think it wasn't my favorite movie of that year. I take that back as well. Like if I made a YouTube video like saying my top movies of that year, and that was like my second or best or first best. I have no clue which movie that was. Why I thought that this because the second movie was pure garbage. Kylo Kylo Ren sucks. His lightsaber carried. Hey, he did have a cool lightsaber. I gotta give him that. The lightsaber was cool. Kylo Ren did have a cool lightsaber. Um, yeah, Kylo Ren was actually written pretty bad in my opinion. The first movie he's good, and the second and third I did not like the way they did them. And I do not like the kiss between freaking Rey and Kylo at the end of like that genuinely made no sense to me. I thought that was an actually ridiculous thing that they threw in there, and personally, just overall, that movie was just the sequel trilogy is a mess, but it's a mess that I don't mind. I actually don't mind the mess that the sequel trilogy became and everything because it's not awful, but it's definitely it's just okay. Because there's still not a single Star Wars movie I've seen that I don't like. Because I've liked every single Star Wars movie I've seen. Um, and you can call me um a Star Wars fanboy or Star Wars can do no wrong. No, I think there's a lot of things that like I'm dreading watching the Acolyte because I do intend on watching that to see how bad it is because I know what some people have said about that show that it's really really freaking bad. Um, but moving away from the talk about the sequels and stuff. Um, when it okay, hopefully he comes back. When it comes to Star Wars though, when it comes to Star Wars, like I said when it comes to Star Wars, I haven't been as well, as a kid. I had toys, I had books, I had DVDs, VHS tapes. I even think I had a Star Wars blanket at one point, and Star Wars is just nowhere near as big a deal to me as it once was when I was a kid. 'Cause when I was a kid, I was in love with Star Wars, like, but as I got older, it drifted. I said earlier. Um, I grew up a lot more enjoying when I was a kid, enjoying the original, not the original, the sequels, not the sequels, the prequels. Sorry, the prequels. I enjoyed those a lot more growing up. I don't know why. Now I see a lot of flaw. I genuinely don't know if I even like episode 2 anymore because it's got some really bad writing. It's got some dumb decisions. It's got some cool fight scenes. It's got some nice CGI and everything. But overall, I don't think 2 is really that good of a film. Um, Now, when it comes to the TV shows, I haven't done that much. I watched a little bit of The Mandalorian. I watched a little bit of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I watched a bunch of Clone Wars when I was a kid. I haven't watched it. I don't really remember anything from it, but I also watched a little bit of I also watched a little bit of what was it? A little bit of Rebels, and I know none of this is canon, but like a lot of the Star Wars, like Lego Star Wars specials and stuff, I love that stuff. Like I have a strong soft spot for the Lego Star Wars stuff. Um, but yeah, it's kind of hard to do this whole little panel without someone else to bounce off of. Yeah, he had to take the dogs out, so I'm trying to salvage this as best I can until he gets back. Um, Sorry, this panel is like not as many people. Like I don't know much of our group that likes Star Wars, so I didn't know who to ask else to ask to be on this panel. So that's why I've only got me and Talkshow here and everything. But I don't think I'm gonna stretch this panel out too much longer. Um, Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So thank y'all for watching this panel. We will be picking up again. We have another panel in a little less than an hour from now, so about 45 minutes. There is the musical theater panel that is at 5 o'clock. So come on and join us for that here in a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys for joining today. And that's it for this panel. Thank you.